Hello everybody and welcome to Faith in Yah Ministries. Now let's see how this little man from Manasseh, the tribe of Manasseh, becomes this mighty man of valor, transformed by the Holy Spirit. Verse 34. But the Spirit of Jehovah came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, and Abiezer was gathered after him. And he sent messengers throughout all Manasseh, and who also gathered after him. And he sent messengers unto Asher, and unto Zebulun, and unto Naphtali, and they came up to meet them. Amazing. So Gideon blows his trumpet. No, wait, he doesn't blow the trumpet. He uses the Spirit to blow the trumpet. It says, the Spirit of Jehovah came upon Gideon and he blew the trumpet. The trumpet was blown through Gideon's lips, but it was the Ruach, the Spirit. This is very important to know. We can't do anything without the Spirit. Without him, Gideon himself is just a man. You or and I are just a man or a woman. We are nothing without his guidance, his power, his authority that he gives to us through the Spirit, the Ruach. All of a sudden he blows the horn and his tribesmen come to him. And all of the tribes of Asher and Naphtali and Zebulun, they come too. Because they see the power manifested in a man through the Spirit. We must embrace this. Let him work his Spirit in you, and you will become powerful. The body will manifest itself into such great power through him. I'm going to make note of this again. Power must come from him, the Almighty. Must work in us. We in ourselves cannot do this. Gideon knows what was going to happen to him when he pulled down that altar of Baal in the totem pole. And within a very short time, he takes the Holy Spirit, he's guided, he strengthens, and then tens of thousands are following him. He's no longer the least in his family and the least of the tribe. He is powerful through the Almighty. Not himself. The Almighty has given him this power and authority. Okay, the verses after this show again Gideon asking for a sign. He asked for two signs. I'm not going to read through the whole scriptures. I'm trying to keep this short. But he asked for two more signs with the fleece. You might be very well familiar with. This is, again, a little bit of him wanting reassurances from the Almighty. And he does. He delivers on them. Two separate signs. And then he manifests his power, the one that he promised, the mighty man of valor, to be given to Gideon. So as we move into chapter 7, I'd like to make a little note that Jehovah knows that we are fleshly beings and we've lacked this faith. Even after that great exodus from Egypt and these people, which we look at and we say, why aren't they grateful? Why aren't they walking in faith? They just had all these plagues set through them. They had these waters parted. They walked through. They saw their enemy destroyed in front of them. There was a light shown all day and all night that they could follow through the desert. Yet somehow we still lack this faith. And this is the encouragement that I want to bring apart to everybody, because we are these fleshly people. We need to encourage each other about these acts of faith. Now Gideon is going to be manifested this faith in chapter 7. Let's read. Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Herod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Morah in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest if Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, my own hand hath saved me. So he wants to make it very clear that even though he's given Gideon this power, he does not want it to be seen that the Israelites can save themselves. Nobody can save themselves. The only thing that can save us is the word of Jehovah, Yeshua, the Messiah. And in belief through him. So this is a very, very powerful message that he's sending us through Gideon. He says, you got too many people. I don't want the Israelites to say, well, because we all gathered against Midianites, we won. He wants it to be known that through the faith is the salvation. Always has been. Not this separation of Old Testament, New Testament. Through your faith is your salvation. Now let's read down on chapter 7, verse 3. Now therefore go, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000. He wants to whittle away these people that are weak in the faith. They're there, and that's a testament to their faith, yes, but he doesn't want the afraid. In fact, now that he's down to 10,000, if you read on, I'm not going to read all of chapter 7 here, but as you read on, he takes that 10,000, and through the test of the drinking of the water, who will drink by the hand and who will lap up the water on their hands and knees, he chooses 300 strong, 300 faithful. He wants to prove that 300 people strong in the faith will deliver all of Israel. This is powerful stuff. Okay, so let's read verse 7. And Jehovah said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped the water, will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand. And let all the other people go, every man unto his place. So he releases these people and leaves 300 people. That night, Gideon gets word of this dream that he gets from a spy that tells him about this loaf of bread rolling through, and it's just another sign. Again, faith works through signs. When you see your sign, you must act upon it. Gideon got his signs, we'll get our signs, and we must, in faith, act upon those signs. So Gideon gets his men, breaks them up into groups, and does an amazing, amazing thing. Okay, so let's read on in this story of how these 300 men show their faith. Now these 300 men must be very brave warriors, ready to fight to the death. And Jehovah puts them in the spot where they must totally rely upon his salvation, his deliverance. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers. Okay, so what you're saying is he gives them a lamp and a shofar with a pitcher to put over the lamp. Where's the sword? Where's the spear? Where's the shield? These guys are going against the battle against tens of thousands of enemies. Jehovah gives them this. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so he gives them the shofar, the lamp, the pitchers to hide them, and then we'll move on to verse 20. And the 3 companies blew the trumpets and broke the pitchers and held the lamps in their left hands and their trumpets in their right hands. And they cried, the sword of the Lord in Gideon. And they stood every man in this place around about the camp, and all the host ran and cried and fled. 300 men against tens of thousands. Not a sword in any of these men's hands. The spirit, the ruach of Jehovah, the trumpet, and the light. Because Because in the light, darkness can't live. And the shouting and it goes on. Let me read out what happens next. Okay, let's read verse 22. And the 300 blew the trumpets, and Yehovah set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the host and the host. They fled. He put sword against sword, Midianite versus Midianite. These 300 men of faith didn't draw their swords. They drew the Spirit of Yehovah. He is the conqueror. Now, through this story, we see great faith. One man that came from the lowest of the family, of the lowest of the clan of the tribe of Manasseh, and he becomes this great conductor of faith to these 300 men. And after these Midianites start taking off, all the other tribes, they chase him. Ephraim gets involved. I'm not going to go through all of the rest of chapter 7 and chapter 8. But what happens is the Midianites are destroyed. The leaders of the Midianite tribes are brought forth, and there's some wrongdoing by tribes of Israel, and they pay later. I'm not going to go through all that. That knew he was doing wrong, knew his people were doing wrong, through faith and a sign from the Almighty, responds to that sign, hears the angel, responds to the angel, is rewarded, even doing what he knows will get him in trouble. He stands firm in his faith and is rewarded with more of the kingdom. This is a great example of how we can look at Yeshua's teaching of the parables of the man with talents. The more that we respond, the more that we invest in the kingdom, the more we're going to be rewarded with the opportunity to do more for his kingdom. This lowly man from Manasseh becomes a powerful man, and with just 300 men, without a sword, without a spear, without an arrow, defeats these Midianites who had been being thugs to them for 7 years. Great, great story. May I encourage you, and you may encourage me, please, to step out in this faith, to do these wondrous acts which are of him, through Yeshua HaMashiach, who has come to prove this to us. Thank you for watching. May Jehovah bless you and keep you. May he shine his face upon you. May he hold you in the bosom of his heart and protect you and guide you and comfort you and nurture you. Folks, so long from Faith in Yah Ministries, and I'll see you again soon.